Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Deb C, and place to be, it's Deb C. Bloop, bloop, that's me. Boop, Deb C. Hey guys, happy Sunday. I'm filming this in real time. So, filming it Sunday, you're seeing it Sunday. I hope everybody is having a fantastic and wonderful long weekend, and I hope you're having a great start to the day. So, I thought it's a Sunday. How about if we do just a Sunday chit chat? I don't want to call it a reset because reset videos, if you see them on YouTube, it's like, come with me during the day, and it's time stamped, and it's like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this and that and this. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do a Sunday chat. I'm going to talk about some things that I did this weekend and just talk about some things that happened this week, some things that are on my mind, stuff like that. So I grabbed my water. I am still loving this beautiful cup from Steep Mountain Tea Company in Greensburg. I love this. Okay, so we got some water, grab a beverage, let's talk. Let's chit chat. So July 4th, I'm not gonna get into why I really wasn't feeling holiday-ish. Holiday, that was the worst looking face. Holiday. I wasn't feeling that much of a holiday kind of person this year. I'm not going to go into why. It's just, I wasn't. So, but my cousin Missy, she had a cookout at just like a little family get together at her place. She doesn't live that far away. So we went to that. I made a new recipe. I did not film it, so you're not going to get a summer salad out of it, but it was delicious. It was a pasta taco salad. So it was like stuff that you would put in a taco salad, except for like the lettuce. You wouldn't put lettuce, but in it you put like beans, you put black beans, corn, cherry tomatoes that I have, red onion. I didn't put red onion in, and red pepper or red or green pepper, and I didn't put that in either. And then you have your ground meat. You season it up like you would for tacos with like taco seasoning, like a packet of taco seasoning, and then you make your pasta. Drain it, put that all together, and then the dressing, it is mayonnaise, sour cream, mix that together, and then you put in fresh lime juice. It was delicious. I put in a little bit of the like tahini, like the lime flavored tahini. It was so good. Listen, I have a ton of it left over because I made that for that. So it was nice. I went for like an hour. Me and Dolly went separate. Me and my mom went separate. I always do that. Listen, ever since the dawn of time, if I have to go someplace and someone says, well, I'm going too, why don't I just pick you up and we can go together? I don't do that because listen, if you learn anything from me, learn that you should drive on your own, because that way you can leave whenever you want to leave. You're not waiting for somebody else to leave. And also, if some shit goes down, you can leave. Or if you sense that shit's going to go down, you can leave. If my spidey sense gets up and I think something nefarious is happening, then yes, I'm leaving. So that was nice. 4th of July is my least favorite day of the year. And people are going to be like, well, you're not patriotic. This year I was not patriotic. However, I'm not a fan of it because fireworks. Our front street in front of our house was like, it sounded like a war zone. And it scares the shit out of Jack. I hate it. I hate it because it scares the shit out of my dog. Also, it scares the crap out of wildlife. And thirdly, it triggers PTSD in veterans. So everybody who's like, we love America and we celebrate and we honor our veterans, by how? How are you doing that? You're doing that by triggering their PTSD? No, I don't like it. Unpopular opinion, it's my least favorite day of the year. I said it and I'll say it. I won't take it back. Okay. Yesterday, I also took some of that salad and we went to my neighbor's birthday party, and he turned 90 years old, 90. Everybody knows him in probably in our little city, and he turned 90. So listen, they have lived across from us since I've known them since the day I was born, and they have 4 kids. And I went to school with them, and we would play around we would play in the neighborhood. So it was really nice seeing everybody, because 2 of the daughters still live in this town, and I see one of them a lot. Well, not a lot, but I see one of them. I see Laura, quite a bit, not a lot, but I see Laura here and there. And then Linda lives in town as well. I don't really see Linda as much. And then Susie lives in Chicago. And then Richie lives, I think, in Hershey. So I don't see them. But it was so nice. It was really nice seeing everybody, especially Susie, because Susie was the one that I had hung out with in the neighborhood. Oh my God, it was such great times back then. We would ride our bikes and we would play Charlie's Angels. And unfortunately, I was always Sabrina. The reason why I always wanted to be either Farrah Fawcett's character or Jacqueline Smith. But I was always Kate Jackson's character, because they were like, you have the short hair. I did. You had the short hair. And I'd be like, but Sabrina never gets any guys. And they were like, Sabrina gets a lot of guys. Plus, Sabrina's the smartest. I was like, yeah. So it was nice. It was nice seeing them. And everybody Laura had said to us, we're ordering shirts. So it was a shirt that said celebrating 90 years, and had an old-timey picture of their dad. And it was nice. It was so cute. So me and my mom had that, and Dolly made ham barbecue. Now, if you don't know ham barbecue is a recipe from here it's popular in Western Pennsylvania. It's basically just chipped ham. It's ham. Listen, if you don't know chipped ham, chipped ham, it's just ham that's chipped. It makes it hamier. If you're from Western Pennsylvania, put in the comments a pig or a ham to let me know that you know what I'm talking about. You got to use Isley's chipped ham. You just go up to the deli counter and you say, can I get a pound of ham? And then say, can I get it chipped? And if they're like, I don't know what that means, it's chipped. You don't get a special machine. It's just chipped ham. So it's chipped ham, and then you use, for the sauce, you use, I don't know everything, but you use Coke. I think my mom used Coca-Cola, and Coca-Cola, brown sugar, and ketchup, maybe? And yes, you can tell that I'm from Western Pennsylvania because I did say brown and counter. And I say cookie. Apparently on TikTok, people were saying that people from Pittsburgh say cookie wrong. Cookie. So one day I sat downstairs and I said cookie for probably about, on my break, I probably sat there for about 10 minutes and said cookie. It's cookie. So we went to that. The only drawback of that was that going into it, I was not feeling good to begin with. I had an upset stomach. And it was hotter than Satan's taint yesterday. It was like, and it's going to be like that today. Like yesterday, it was like 90 degrees. So I didn't last for that long because, I was not feeling good. Okay, so we had that. Today, this is just a relaxing day. It's just like let's eat our leftovers because I have a lot of salad left over and we have a lot of ham barbecue left over. So we're just doing that. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna color a little bit. I made my video for tomorrow. You're gonna see it for Bachelor in Paradise, like who's gonna be on the beach. I'm gonna have to get a new whiteboard because I don't know who it was that mentioned it a few years ago. Like you should get a whiteboard and you can use it for Bachelor in Paradise and you can use it for Fame Game or Claim to Fame. That's what, I hope that's coming back too. And I used it for Bachelor in Paradise and I never wiped it off. So it's done. So I have to throw that out. I will remember you, whiteboard. And I have to get another one. So we're going to do that. Okay. So let's talk about this though. There were some court cases. Now, this is where no. Let's not talk about that first. Let's not talk about that next. Let's talk about, and I'm going to insert right in here. Listen, I'm going to talk about this and then I'm going to insert. So I always have my head on a swivel. I am a person that always, my mind goes to worst case scenario and my mind goes to nefarious. Nefarious is the word of the year now. In my mind, if I'm christening a word as word of the year, it is nefarious. Thanks to the Karen retrial. Nefarious or nefarious. Nefarious. I think that is what is happening in the neighborhood because, listen, I'm not going to show you, but there's this little house that's behind our house. Like here's our house, and then there's the yard. You saw the big yard, and then we have, thank goodness, we have hedges. And then there's the alley, and then there's this house. Okay, so this house, I think there's always been shit going on, shadiness going on there. So the woman that used to live there, she has passed. And her boyfriend bought it for like, hey mom, how much did Roger buy that house for? Like $9,000. That's going to tell you it's not like, it's a dump. It's a dump. He's like not a trash collector, but he's like a salvage guy or something. I don't know. Cause he would always bring like washers, like old busted down washers and dryers and put them in his side yard here. There was like a boat that didn't work. And there was a camper that never worked. And the city was like, you got to get this shit the F out of here. So anyways, I've been noticing, and you're going to see, I will put a video referencing it, but he lives there. They live there. I don't even know who's there now. If it's this guy, the boyfriend who bought it, or if it's somebody else. Because if you don't remember, there was a time when I was sitting here and I noticed, no, it was in the other room. And I noticed, and it was night, and I noticed that there were like people going through it. There was cop cars. And then I noticed like lights going through. Well, then we find out that the boyfriend was like, people are trying to break into my house. I don't know why they would want to break into his house. There's nothing in there that they, what could they want to steal? Unless it's like hugs. So, okay, let's fast forward to now. There is this, so they live there, that person lives there. And then there's the street that comes up here, and then, okay. So then at the top of the hill is this wooded, it's kind of like a wooded area. I call it the service road because the city, I think at one time had been like, well, you have to turn this into a service road. It's like a hill. Well, they never did that. It was kind of gravelly. So now everything has grown up and it's woody. So it's kind of woody. So I've been noticing for the last few days that there is a gray vehicle that is just parked there. Like for reference, you go up and it's there and it's wooded, and then you go just down just a little bit, and then our neighbors who are directly across from us are right there. And I said to them one day, I'm like, what's this? And they're like, yeah, they've been parked there for like a while. They park there and they go to the house, the little house that's behind you. I'm like, why? Why would you park there? And then I was talking to the neighbors today, and they were like, yeah, the person came out at 4:30 in the morning and got in his car. She knows that because she's having trouble sleeping, and she's a smoker and she doesn't smoke in the house. So she sees this stuff. She sees all this stuff. As a matter of fact, she said the one day that two people were dropped off early in the morning in front of our house, and then walked down to the side and went to that house. And then she said today that somebody in a dark sedan parked in front of our house at 10:30 at night and walked through our side yard over there, like which would one of my windows would in my bedroom would face out that way. This isn't a cut through. I don't want people walking through this yard and then maybe dropping things that are illegal, and then we don't do none of that. I don't like it. It's all nefarious. It's all nefarious. So that car, I'm thinking that vehicle's parked there because here in Pennsylvania, it's not required to have, we don't have to have a license plate on the front and the back, just the back. So I'm feeling like they're parked with their front going this way and their back going that way. Listen, nobody down that way knows anything, even sees like that car parked there, that vehicle parked there. Over that way, like the parking, I'm pointing like out that way is a trailer court. I'm going to tell you this right now. We don't have a problem with them. People in the first trailer, I don't know. We never see them, and I don't know. Nefarious? Maybe. Who knows? So, yeah, I'm thinking that they're parked that way so that nobody can see a license plate. One day I'm going to take a drive and I'm going to come up that way because I'm not going to walk out because Lordy knows, me and Eileen, we're not quick. I'm going to get my car. I'm going to come down that way and I'm going to make a note of that license plate because head on a swivel. I'm going to insert the video right now. So watch this and you'll see the car. Okay, guys, this is what I'm talking about. Do you see that car there? That car is parked there all day. I'm not going to go out and show you, but that's like a service, that used to be a service road, and that's a weird place to park. And it's parked there like all night. And then, and the guy that owns it, he's going to a house that's right behind ours. Nefarious. Okay, I'm back. So nefarious situation, there we go. Let's get to what I wanted to talk about. This is going to make up the bulk of this video. I have a lot of opinions on this. So it was 3 court cases. I cannot believe that I did not talk about this first one because I have been hemmed up since day one of the first trial. Okay, and I'm talking about Karen Reed. From day one of this trial, have been watching it. I've went down a lot of the rabbit holes. So finally, on the second trial, on the retrial, Karen Read was finally found not guilty of all counts except for OUI, or operating under the influence. So she was finally free on the charges that she had hit John O'Keefe, that she backed up into John O'Keefe and left him there to unalive. They finally got this correct. Here's now, I think, and the defense, who I absolutely, I love everybody on that defense team, but especially, listen, David Yannetti is my favorite. I love all of them, but David Yannetti, he's been there since day one. And when they read the verdict and he just cried, I like I said, I love them all, but David Yannetti is probably my absolute favorite. He just seems like such a genuine guy. And the whole like best friendship that came out of that retrial between him and Robert Alessi, who, by the way, 67 years old. Look online and see if you can find a picture of Robert Alessi flexing, because you can't even, like, he is a clean living, clean eating kind of guy, very healthy, 67 years old. There's no way in hell that man is 67. And even David Yannetti is 62. You can't believe it. I can't believe it. But and it came out because Alessi and Yannetti have done like interviews. They didn't go the route of legacy media with like CNN or ABC or any of the major networks. They took their like tour to social media. Like, I watched them on Runkle's channel, and then I watched them on Pete Tragos on Lawyer You Know, who's so good looking, and on Melanie Little. And they said that that's where they wanted to go. I love that, because that I think social media got the coverage right. Like, they weren't really biased or anything. Most weren't. And even if they were, I really didn't care. But I like their reporting much better than legacy media. So she was convicted of OUI. The defense added that, and I think maybe the defense added that because they were thinking, well, if they want to find her guilty of something, let's put that in there. And I mean, that was a no-brainer. Everybody was drinking, like everybody was drinking. So she is free. She is free. They gave her like a year probation, and she has to take classes for OUI. And now I know that she is, she's headed for a civil case, and that is being brought by the O'Keefe family. It's against Karen Read, the Waterfall, and C.F. McCarthy's, which are the two bars that John O'Keefe and Karen Read had gone to before heading to 34 Fairview. So that is coming up. If you were to ask me, Deb, what is the thing that swayed you on this? Here's the thing. There were a lot of things in the first trial. The defense went more with, there's this like a conspiracy, and that he had gone into 34 Fairview. There was a tussle, something happened, the dog attacked, and then they put him out front. Do I think that's what happened? Here's my theory. I think he went, because people were like, he did not enter the house. I don't think they're lying. I think he went into, because if you know, there's the front door, There's a breezeway that has a door here and then door here. The door here heads into the garage. I think he went into the garage. I think either Brian Higgins or Colin Albert got into it with him. And I'm not going to go into why I think it was either one of those, but both of them had a reason as to why they would want to start something with John O'Keefe. Both of them had a reason. And I thought it was very odd that during the retrial, they weren't even allowed to mention Colin Albert's name. And Colin Albert, while at college, he was, the FBI paid a visit to him. So something has to be going on here. So it's either one of them. And I think Chloe was there. Chloe was a reactive dog. She did not react well with people. I think she was in there. She was just doing maybe what a dog would do if she senses that somebody's attacking like somebody that she knows. And that's where the scratches and the puncture marks of the arm, because that did not come from a vehicle. And that's what I think happened. But the thing that for me totally made me think she didn't do this is that there was absolutely no scientific or medical proof that she hit him. The x-rays. If I'm gonna say anything, I'm gonna say the x-rays. You're telling me that a 6,000 pound vehicle backed into him at 24 miles per hour and there were absolutely no broken bones, no fractures on the outside of the skin, there was no black and blue marks. You're gonna tell me that. Also, the medical professionals, the medical experts that testified, Dr. Leprosado, Dr. Rentschler, Dr. Russell, and for the Commonwealth, the medical examiner, Scortibello, all said these injuries did not come from a vehicle. So you're going to tell me, people who are like, no, she did it. You're going to tell me you know more than the medical experts. No, ma'am. No, sir. No, thank you. I'm going to tell you a little story, and I'm not going to show you the black and blue mark. But look, I have a black and blue mark. If you could see, you can't. See that? Do you see that? That black and blue mark. I got that. I woke up one morning and I had that black and blue mark. Was there a vehicle in my car? There was not a vehicle in my car. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. I bruised like fruit. I don't know. I could have Jimmy legs at night. I don't know. And I could have kicked myself. I don't know. I have no idea. There's nothing crazy that goes on in my bedroom other than I might have Jimmy legs. So how is it that I can get this black and blue mark in my bed, but John O'Keefe's legs don't have any black and blue marks, or his arms? Nope, doesn't make any sense. Case closed. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Diddy. Okay, so Diddy, as you know, he was found not guilty. Count 1 of on the RICO charge. Count 2 for I'm gonna say schmeck's trafficking against Cassie Ventura. He was found guilty of transportation of prostitutions across state lines, and I guess that was the count for Cassie. Found not guilty of count 4 with sexual trafficking of Jane, and guilty of count 5, once again, for the transport of prostitution across the state line, Jane. So, I was kind of surprised by this. I mean, I was surprised, and I was a little bit not okay with this. Did I follow this as closely as I thought I was going to? I did not. I think the reason why I didn't was because it was federal and you can't watch it. Anytime it's federal and you can't watch it, well, then you have to rely on what the media that's in there is going to tell you. I'm not as like drawn in then if that's the case. Like, unfortunately, that's going to be the case for the Sandra Birchmore trial, which is, I might do a video on that at some point. It's heartbreaking. That is a heartbreaking case out of Canton, Massachusetts, once again, that involves some of the players from the Karen Read case. There's like 2 that are going to be coming from that area that involve people who were players who were in the Karen Read case. But back to Diddy. So he was found guilty of two of the lesser charges. That being said, the max that he can get for both of them is 10 years. Is he going to get 10 years? He is not going to get 10 years. I think what they're going to do, and this is what I thought, but then I heard other people, like lawyers out there, saying he's probably going to get 5. I'm thinking he's going to get 5, and I don't even know that he's going to do all 5, because maybe they might think, well, listen, it's the lesser of the charges. It's his first, this is his first, offense. And maybe they don't want to appear like, maybe by giving him like a higher sentence, like the maximum, that would maybe look like there is prejudice against him because he's a public figure. I think he's going to get 5. He was denied bail after the acquittals came in. And that does not surprise me, because you can see that he has a history of violence. Listen, that video that came out of him beating on Cassie at that Los Angeles hotel, that right there, he has a history of violence. Plus, apparently there's just like a history of intimidation against witnesses. So all that being said, it did not surprise me that he is getting, that he did not get bail. His lead, he had a very large legal team. It was headed by Mark Agnifilo. Mark Agnifilo is the husband of Karen Agnifilo. Karen Agnifilo is the lead attorney for Luigi Mangione. Don't even get me started on that. And then I believe also on the team was Teddy Garagos, who is Mark Garagos' daughter, who Mark Garagos is like, a famous attorney out in LA for like decades. I don't know. I heard a little bit of their press conference after. I don't know, when they had said, a lot of them were like, I am thankful for Sean Combs for allowing me to work with him. I am honored to work with you. Were honored? No, that dude. Here's the thing: the RICO, maybe them adding on the RICO charges with like kidnapping and arson and all that, maybe it was too much. The defense didn't call any defense witnesses, and that to me says that maybe they were like, well, listen, what the prosecution put up wasn't anything. And from what I understand, there were text messages between like Diddy and Jane where it kind of looked like she was like asking to have this freak off. I don't know, but I think there's a lot of, my thing is if these are things that were consensual, why didn't more of his like famous friends come out and talk about this? That's, to me, it was odd. I feel like this is the OJ. I feel like this is this generation's OJ, honestly. So, I mean, they do have, I believe, some civil cases. They do have civil cases. Some of the civil cases had settled, some didn't. So there are civil cases coming up against Diddy. I don't know how many people are going to want to work with Diddy now, to be honest with you, because look at, what's his name? Look at Bill Cosby. Like, all that came out about Bill Cosby, and then he was in jail, and then the state of Pennsylvania fucked it up, and he got out of jail. How many people were working with Bill Cosby? Did he die? No, he's still alive, I think. How many people want to work with Bill Cosby? Like, if R. Kelly were to get out of prison, how many people are going to be like, oh my gosh, let's work together? So I don't know how many people are going to want to work with P. Diddy. How many people are going to want to have their name associated with that? I mean, even though he was acquitted of the majority of the charges. That's just what I'm thinking. Okay, so listen, the last one, this Brian Kohberger, this bullshit had me pissed. Brian Kohberger for the Idaho 4 took a plea deal, and I forget what I was watching. I was watching something, and my mom said, "Oh my God, turn the TV on," and find out he took a plea deal to take the death penalty off the table. So now he is pleading guilty to the stabbing deaths of 4 Idaho college students. And that is, let's not forget their names. That is Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Chernobyl, and Madison Mogen. So he now is taking the plea deal. So it looks like it is going to be, so he was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of burglary. So now they took the plea deal. They're asking that it be 4 life sentences without parole. So there's no chance of parole, and he's surrendering his right to an appeal. So that is what they had the plea deal, the plea deal hearing in front of Judge Hepler, and they asked him, they went through all of his rights. Did you do this on your own free will? Were you coerced, or, were you coerced into taking this deal? No, I was not. And I'm going to tell you, the reason why this gets me pissed off and upset is the fact that for all of this time, the families of those 4 young people, the families of those victims, had to sit there and had to listen to him say every time, talk about how he's not guilty, I'm innocent, professed his innocence for all of these years. And they had to sit there and they had to put up with that. And now he's given the chance to decide what happens to him. And you know who didn't get the chance to decide what happened to him? That is Ethan Chapin, Xana Chernobyl, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Gonzalez. None of them. They are never going to have. Oh, it gets me so mad, because none of these young people are going to experience anything in life. They're never going to get to graduate from college. They're never going to buy their first house, or have their first adult job, or get married, or have children, or retire, or do any of that. And this son of a bitch sat there for 2.5 years and lied to everybody, and wasted the resources of the state of Idaho on this. They were planning on having 10,000 people come in to, as part of the jury selection process. That, I'm going to tell you. So the plea deal came out, and we find out that two of the families are okay with it because they're like, well, it's closure. And the reason why they did the plea deal was they were like, okay, we're going to do the plea deal because this way the family doesn't have to go through this. And then if he's on death row, from what I understand, if you're on death row, appeals can take like 20, 30 years. And the family won't have to go through this. So it's closure for them. The way it sounded like to me in the letter, it sounded like they went and they took this to the family. It sounded to me like the family was maybe not okay with it because they were like, we took what the family said into consideration, but we think this is the best thing. So two of the families are not okay with it. And that's the Gonsalves family and the Kernodle family. They're not okay with it. Can I tell you? I can't tell you whether they're right or wrong. I can tell you in that situation, I would not be okay with it. I would not be all right with that because, listen, he did not give those victims a chance. He didn't give them a choice. So why should you be giving him a choice? I thought that was bullshit. So he goes into this plea deal hearing, and the thing that pissed me off was, he stands up at first to address Judge Hepler. And then eventually Judge Hepler was like, you don't have to stand up. I know you're trying to be respectful to the court, but you don't have to stand up. So now you're being respectful. You weren't respectful to your victims, and you weren't respectful to their family, but now you're respectful. Fuck you. No. That guy is I'm not saying Judge Hepler, I'm saying Brian Kohberger. He's a psychopath. He's a sociopath. Those were dead eyes. Those were completely dead eyes. When they were asking, did you knowingly and premeditatedly commit these on each person? And after each one of their names, he would say a human being. And with absolutely no emotion, nothing, dead eyes, he said yes. And the thing that got me was his lawyer. In my opinion, his lawyer looked like she had a little bit of a smirk. Ann Taylor. I'm going to tell you, I took off. July 23rd is when there will be victim statements. I think that might be when they hand down the sentence. I took that day off because I want to see this, and I want to see if he addresses the court and tells the families why. That's what I would want to know. Why? Why did you pick my child? Why did you do this? What was your motive? What were you thinking, you sick son of a bitch? Is what I would be thinking. So I want to watch it because I want to see if he says anything. And at this plea deal hearing, they were told like, no emotions, please. If I was there, I couldn't. I would not in any way, shape, or form be able to not say anything. I would get thrown out. I would get thrown out of jail. I would get thrown out of the courtroom. I would be in jail. I wouldn't be able to handle it because this once again, this son of a bitch, from day one, he was like, I'm innocent, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. And his team, like month after month, would throw up roadblocks and would push things back. And this family had to sit there through all of this. And this wasn't this was not, I'm not saying that there's some killings that are better than others. There's not. There's no good killings. None. However, I mean, there's victims are victims, but this was especially heinous. And you sat there and you lied. Nope. No. Okay. So listen, we're going to end on that note because there's no way I'm going to settle down after that. So okay. I'm going to try and settle down. I'm going to have something to eat. I'm going to go do a little coloring. I'm going to get myself settled down a little bit. We're going to get ourselves simmered down a little bit. Okay. So listen, in the comments, if you want to comment on anything I said, go ahead and do it. Also, I don't do this a lot. There's a lot of people who on their channel will be like, give me a thumbs up and give me a subscribe. I don't ever say that because I'm like, if you want to, go ahead and do it. Because YouTube things. But if you want to, give me a thumbs up. And if you are not subscribed, then subscribe if you want to, because as you can see, I talk about a menagerie. I talk about a menagerie of things, of topics. So, okay, listen, if nobody told you yet today, you were loved, seen, and heard. I drank none of this water, and I made sure that I filled it up before I started this, and I drank none of it. So if you are watching this, please know that Dolly and I, nope, let's start over. So listen, if nobody told you yet today, you are loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in this world. Please take care of one another. And remember, kindness, it's free. And it comes right back at you. Please be aware of your surroundings, just like I'm doing. Always be smart and safe. Let's hydrate with some water, wham ham. And if you're in a dangerous situation, know that Dolly and I are sending our love, thoughts, prayers, and positive energy your way so you make it through. If you made it to the end of this, congratulations to you, because this was a big one. This was a rant. This was a big one. If you made it to the end, put a ham. Put a ham, because chipped ham. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow for Bachelor in Paradise cast reveal. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.